But Sean, now it is finally time. You've been wearing the jersey like a good boy all podcast.
I mean, it's comfy.
I mean, that's the one that I told him you should have busted out that, like, I'm concerned, like, not concerned, I'm confused.
Why?
Because I like how slick that jersey is, like the material of the Nike jersey, but I just love the red, like,
it's
throwback.
the new jersey, and also the red one's really stained because I wore it a ton of times.
I love the red throwback jersey.
I like it too, but I like the blue better.
Well, and that's why
the blue's a classic.
You bought that one just so you can have
I
the
did buy
classic
it.
Tom Brady jersey. But this is a team where we're going to get right into it. This Patriot team, yeah, they had some guys leave. Martellus Bennett's now at the Packers. LeGarrette Blount's no longer in town. Michael Floyd is with my Minnesota Vikings now.
Oh, yeah, we're going to miss Michael Floyd.
Chris Long is gone. But really, to me, I look at the guys they brought in, and one of the guys who I didn't even think they were going to get, I thought he might have been going to Chicago or something, but Stephon Gilmore gets on this team, and he, like, that was a shocker that he signed with the Patriots, as the Patriots were able to bring him in this team.
The biggest shocker is Brandon Cooks and not trading Malcolm Butler.
Well, I mean,
that's the biggest shocker.
I'm getting to that. I'm talking about free agents.
You
get Gilmore, but then you trade for, like you said, Brandon Cooks. You get to keep the guy who everyone was like, well, if you get Cooks, you're going to have to give this guy up. And really, the big question for this team is,
how many games are they going to win?
What are the chances they repeat this year?
95%.
Because that's really what we're talking about with the Patriots.
I mean, it's tough to say that this team will not be a top 3 team in the NFL. I mean, what year have they not been a top 3 team in the NFL or a top 5 team in the NFL? I mean, you have to go so far back that they weren't a top 5 team in the NFL, let alone the AFC East. I mean, the last time they didn't make the playoffs was 2008, and that was with
Tom Brady was
Matt
injured.
Castle.
Yeah. They were still 10-6.
They were still 10-6. I mean, this team has been good for so long that it's getting annoying for other NFL fans. It's not getting annoying for me. But, again, you look at what this team was able to do in the offseason. Again, like you mentioned, bring in Stephon Gilmore, keep Malcolm Butler, which is, again, I can't keep stressing how big that was. I love the Coney Ely signing. You also talk about Brandon Cooks as well. I think the biggest one that will go untalked about, too, is the Mike Gillislee signing. Bringing him over from Buffalo, I think that guy is going to make a ton of noise as the back who's going to be replacing LeGarrette Blount in that actual traditional runner role. And I think that Mike Gillislee is going to be big as well. And also Rex Burkhardt, I think is going to be a nice signing. He's going to be a guy that's going to be, he's going to be a guy that's more special teams, but he's also going to be able to make some noise there. And also, we brought in Dwayne Allen. I mean, there's so many nice moves on this team that it's so hard to say that this team will not do, great things. And I think that they have a very good chance to repeat again. And I think that if I had to pick a team to win the Super Bowl, I'm picking the Patriots, and that's with and without biases.
Well, and I mean, everything that we talked about before, like with the Patriots, we don't have to go into discussions like we did for the other teams, because to me, there are no real questions about this team. I compare the Patriots when we talk like playoffs, like them making the playoffs is like what you and I would talk about on the Fast Break last season about the Warriors and the Cavs getting to the final.
It's not even like that, because that's only been happening for 3 years. Literally, I can say that this is what the Patriots have been able to do is
I have it right here.
No,
since 2002 was the last season, except for that 2008,
they
finished second, and they finished second in the division. Everyone else, except for that year Brady got injured, they've been first in the division and have had double-digit wins.
Let me put it this way. Since pretty much what they've been doing is what a 9-year-old's been doing. It's like waking up for a 9-year-old. They've been winning the division since 2009. And that's what kids have been doing since, whatever. If a kid was born in 2009, that's what he's been doing every single day is waking up. I mean, it's just waking up for the Patriots.
You could really say
they wake up with 6 wins in the division.
Let's be honest. You could say they've really been winning the division since 2001, because
I can't say that because they didn't win it.
Yeah, I know.
2002 or 2008.
I take 2 years of second place, and I go whatever. I'll give you those odds of if you're gonna go from 2001 to 2016 and only finish second twice, I will take those. If you told me, Ricky, the Vikings are gonna win the division for about 15 years straight, but 2 of those years you'll finish second, I'll be like, I'll take it. And I don't have to give up anything? Do I have to give up anything for this?
I mean, this team with their, I'll put it this way, their team with their either starting quarterback or backup, just their number two, they were what? I can't do math in my head. So they were 14-1 with their starting quarterback or their second backup. The only game that they lost with Jacoby Brissett was that 16-0 loss against Buffalo, and then they obviously had that tough game against Seattle. But really, I mean, this team is the best team in the NFL, and it's just really, you can't really say that the best team in the NFL is going to win the Super Bowl every single year, but I think the Patriots clearly have the best odds to win the Super Bowl this year.
The thing I will say is, and this is the thing where I wonder what will happen with the Patriots, because it's not a fact of will they lose, because I believe that on this schedule, I see about maybe two games that I see them losing, and that is the Chiefs to begin the year and the Falcons. Like, those are the only teams that I see. Maybe the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders can be a team because it's in Oakland. It'll be the last time that the Patriots come to the Coliseum.
Houston and Oakland.
But
I think Houston or Oakland.
I think the Patriots will beat Oakland no problem, or beat Houston no problem.
I mean, with a healthy J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney, especially what they were able to do, the Houston Texans in the playoffs and give Tom Brady trouble with that defense, I think Houston can beat them.
Yeah, but I think that the Patriot defense with what they've added could give, I'm assuming, which is going to be Deshaun Watson.
But it's something where Tom Brady might have a terrible game, might turn the ball over twice, and that's enough to beat the Patriots. I mean, honestly, you look at. And as long as they're able to run clock down, which they were able to do in that playoff game, you can keep Tom Brady off the field. And if you force him to make turnover, or you force him to create turnovers, then you can beat the Patriots. I think Houston has all of the tools to put it towards beating the Patriots. Not saying they're going to, but I think they have the tools to do that.
Well, and that's why the one thing that
where I look at Kansas City and I don't see that.
I know you were talking about the other team with running the ball and keeping the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. But going off of a guy that you said could be big this year, just for the role he plays, is Rex Burkhead, because the reason being is, who did they lose this offseason? LeGarrette Blount. I think that, to me, is going to be a hole that they have to, or not literally a hole, I'm going to say it's a role that they're going to have to fill, because LeGarrette Blount was able to come onto the field when called upon and give the Patriots yardage and give them kind of relief when Dion Lewis needed it, or if James White wasn't getting it done.
The guy that's going to replace that hole is Mike Gillislee. I mean, Mike Gillislee, what he was able to do backing up LaShawn McCoy last year in Buffalo was pretty fantastic. He was a guy that was used in goal line areas, goal line situations, because he's a guy that can be a little more physical and be that guy that LeGarrette Blount was. And he's also a guy that's very shifty as well. Mike Gillislee is more of a pure runner and more of a pure running back than Rex Burkhardt. Rex Burkhardt is more of your Swiss Army knife, a guy that you expect to be in New England, the guy that's going to be able to do special teams, but also be a
receiver,
guy that can be off the back.
a running back.
I think he's going to be the fourth. Or honestly, he might even be the fifth.
I'll be honest. I'm looking at the depth chart. They might have to cut some backs, because they've got Dion Lewis,
they'll probably cut Bolden,
Foster, Daniels Jr., White, Gillislee, and Bolden. They got 7 running backs.
Foster and Daniels will probably be practice squad.
Then cut Bolden.
Bolden. They might cut Bolden. I don't know. They might keep Bolden. They might keep 5. They might keep 5 running backs on there, because Burkhardt is a guy that can play special teams. And I think if anyone's going to be cut, it's going to be Bolden, because they just brought in Burkhead.
Yeah.
They just brought in Gillislee. James White was fantastic, and Dion Lewis, when healthy, is a great back. So I think if they're going to keep four backs on the roster, it's going to be Lewis, White, Gillislee, and Burkhead.
And also, the one thing we did not mention is the beginning of the season, they're probably going to be getting Rob Gronkowski back, which will be huge. And also, you know how I mentioned they lose Martellus Bennett? Guess who they get to back him up now? Dwayne Allen, which was a starting tight end with the Colts.
Well, and I think that Dwayne Allen fits more of that backup role, because Martellus Bennett has the ego. And not saying that Martellus was bad.
Yeah, he got his ring. Got his ring and he left.
And I really like Martellus Bennett. I think that he's a good tight end. But again, he has that ego where Dwayne Allen, you don't really see that. Plus, he's still going to get his share. He's still going to be able to be worked into this offense. So, really, I mean, you look at the weapons they have on offense. Lewis, White, Gillislee. I think those 3 are going to be the guys that are going to make the most noise offensively, because James White's going to be your shotgun running back, and he's going to be able to run the ball and and get carries on the outside. Deion Lewis is going to be your change of pace back or also your receiving back, and Gillis is going to be your guy that going to fill that LeGarrette Blount hole that was left. And those three running backs I think are fantastic. Some guy named Rob Gronkowski, as long as he's healthy, is probably the greatest offensive weapon that I've seen in my life. Because I'm not trying to pump up Gronk here, but I mean we have not seen a guy that's 6'7", 6'6", with the speed, ability, and power that he has, and the hands he has. I mean, I've never seen a crazier offensive weapon in my lifetime, probably outside of him and Randy Moss. I mean, because, I wasn't there for T.O.'s great years, and I think Gronkowski is a specimen that we really haven't seen before. This offensive line, as long as it's secure, and we saw Marcus Cannon be fantastic once they brought back Scarn. So I think that as long as this offensive line can work together and be secure, I think that this is going to be a team that can make a lot of noise because Brandon Cooks, we saw what he was able to do with Drew Brees.
And now he gets Tom Brady.
Which, I mean, Drew Brees is better throwing the deep ball than Tom Brady. Tom Brady isn't too accurate, but if there's any knock on Tom Brady, is that he's not accurate with deep ball was.
Let's be honest. What they might do, and you could probably tell me I'm totally wrong, which might be what you do, but I kind of look at this kind of roster and I say, okay, Hogan's on one side. Do you put Cooks on the outside and Edelman in the slot, or do you switch and flip and put Cooks on the slot sometimes and kind of interchange Edelman and Cooks where you mix them up?
The only way that Cooks will be on the inside is if Malcolm Mitchell in and they go 4 wide. And Hogan and Mitchell will be on the outside, and then Edelman and Cooks will be on the inside. But Julian Edelman's been Brady's inside guy no matter what. He's the number one guy, but he's always going to be your slot receiver.
And I wonder,
because of the style that he plays and the way that he's able to make catches over the middle, where Brandon Cooks, he's a great receiver, but he doesn't have that toughness that I see in a Julian Edelman. I don't see a lot of guys with the toughness of Julian Edelman in the NFL.
And that's going to be the thing I wonder is, are we going to see more plays like we saw? I know it's a microcosm in itself, but are we going to see more plays this season like we saw from Hogan in the playoffs where it's like, well, we had him covered and we got him covered, but fuck, we forgot about that guy. Shit, we had Rob covered, we had Cooks covered, we had Edelman covered. Who had Hogan? Who nobody?
I mean, you look at the weapons though. I mean, there's so many of those guys that you can have,
and you got to cover all of them.
Cooks, Edelman, Malcolm Mitchell was fantastic last year, and he grew immensely. Danny Amendola is still on the damn team. Chris Hogan's still on the team. Like you said, Gronkowski, Allen. I mean, there's 8 capable guys on this team to catch balls, and you have one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, the greatest quarterback ever, throwing the ball. I mean, this offense is going to be unstoppable. I mean, I don't see a way, unless Tom Brady gets injured, that this team isn't going to be the best offense in the NFL. Maybe not statistically, but when you see this team, you're going to be like, oh shit, how is this team going to be stopped in the playoffs offensively? I don't see a way, and really, obviously the only way that people have been able to stop them is pressure. But as long as this offensive line has been able to do something, or is able to do something, this is going to be the best offense we've seen.
Well, and I mean, to go off of a point that you mentioned earlier, I know you said, since 2009, they've won the division. I'll take it one step further. Since 2011, this team has either been in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl.
I know that.
And have won the Super Bowl twice. Like that's, I know that. That's just then. I had to say that because I feel like at this point in the preview,
well, I mean, they've won 2 in the past 3 years.
Yeah, and I feel like some people might be at this point in the preview saying, "Well, Sean's just blowing smoke up their ass because he's a Patriot fan or a Tom Brady fan," and
they can say that.
You guys are just blowing smoke up their butt. But like this team is good, and this team is like,
shit.
I am probably going to put them in the AFC Championship game again this year in my predictions, but it kind of makes me think of the question of like Denver when they topped them. Denver was a good team.
Well, they were a team that could blitz.
Yeah, Baltimore. That was a game where they got kind of lucky that year. The one where the Ravens beat them and then the Ravens played the 49ers. I don't know if they got lucky.
I think Baltimore was a good enough team, and you look at that defense, they were able to put it to them.
That was a game I thought the Patriots should have won, could have won.
The Patriots should have beat Denver, too.
I mean, they've lost to Denver twice in the AFC Championship game since 2011.
They should have been able to beat no-neck Peyton Manning back then.
No-neck Peyton Manning. But
I think that's a bigger crime, but they didn't have an answer for Von Miller.
I really look at this league and I go, just AFC. Who can top this team in the playoffs? I think that's the true question.
Any team?
When you get to we'll do AFC first. If they go to the AFC title game, if they meet this team, they will lose.
They will lose?
Yes.
No
like
team.
if they meet
no team.
Okay, how
there's
about
not
this?
There's not a for sure team.
If they meet this team, they could lose. How about we change it to that?
Oakland, Texans.
Do you think Oakland can beat them in the playoffs?
Oakland, Houston. Could is the question, not will.
Because you don't think there's any team that can beat them.
In the AFC, no. Oakland, Houston. Not even Kansas City, because Kansas City doesn't play offense. Yeah, Oakland and Houston. That's it.
I'm going to say there's only...
No. There's
I'm
Oakland and Houston.
I'm going to say maybe Oakland, just because I like Oakland.
No, I
really
think that
like
they can because you look at Khalil Mack and his ability to create pressure. If he's able to do that, you're going to be able to beat Tom Brady.
Derek
and they
Carr
also
can do on the offensive side.
And then also you look at Oakland, they bring pressure and they force turnovers.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do to beat Tom Brady defensively. So as long as they're able to do that, I don't know if it's a for sure, but they could beat them. I mean, Houston was able to create pressure last year. They weren't able to beat them, but they could have beat them. So I think Oakland's definitely one team that I look at that can make noise. And then obviously Houston, getting J.J. Watt back and Jadeveon Clowney, I think they could beat them. But other than that, I don't really see a team that can really beat them.
And the thing about the Chiefs
Looking at
that I will
the
say,
start of the season at least,
like the one way I could see the Chiefs getting the better end of the Patriots is if that game is at Kansas City.
Nope.
If it's at Kansas City, I will give KC a puncher's chance in that game.
If they meet up in the AFC Championship game and it is the Patriots at Arrowhead and the Patriots lose, I will shave my head. There's no way it happens. Andy Reid cannot be the Patriots in the playoffs.
Wait, if it does, if it goes the other way and they meet and they lose, do I have to do anything?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Then
So
yeah,
if the
I'll take you up on that.
I'm not worried.
Okay.
Andy Reid cannot beat the Patriots. Alex Smith is not a capable enough quarterback to beat the Patriots. And you might be saying, well, Houston doesn't have a capable quarterback as well. I mean, Deshaun Watson's nothing special. Tom Savage is something special.
But
the defense would beat them. Kansas City doesn't have that.
Casey's defense isn't on the same level as like what Denver's was when they beat him in the championship game. But I think Casey's defense is pretty solid.
Then why didn't they beat the Steelers? Oh yeah, that's right. Because they gave up six. Because they gave up 6 field goals and couldn't score on the offensive end.
Yeah, well, it was
they can't move the ball.
Fault. The defense only gave up.
They still gave up 18 points, Ricky. They gave up points on every single drive, pretty much.
Hey, I will settle for giving up field goals and touchdowns. Could you imagine if they were touchdowns, how much they would have lost?
Still lost.
I know, but that's because the offense couldn't do anything. It wasn't the defense's
But do you think that Tom Brady would settle for 6 field goals? No,
Tom Brady would get in the end zone.
They'd be able to put it in the end zone.
Yeah. I mean,
so you give a lesser offense in Pittsburgh that many chances, and you're not beating New England, no matter what your offense does.
And this is going to hurt my argument, but you got to think KC does not have Jeremy Maclin anymore. He is now in Baltimore.
Jeremy Maclin doesn't matter. Alex Smith can't throw the damn ball.
It's still an offensive weapon for him to throw the ball to that's not there. How about if they go to the Super Bowl? Then, besides the Giants, because obviously the Giants can beat them.
Shut up. Rodgers. Not Green Bay, just Rodgers.
just Aaron Rodgers.
I think the Falcons proved that they could hang with the Patriots. I think that they wouldn't blow another 25-3 lead.
Well, they don't have Shanahan there to get complacent.
Yeah, I don't think they'd blow another 28-3 lead. Seattle has proven that they could beat the Patriots. I don't know if they would, but they could beat them. And I'll give Dallas some love.
I was going to ask if Dallas goes to the Super Bowl, because that's a big question.
Dallas, I would put Dallas on the lowest out of all the teams I've named. I would put Dallas above Houston, but below everybody else.
Could Dak Prescott outplay Tom Brady in a Super Bowl?
What do you mean by outplay? Like, throw less interceptions? Yeah.
We're looking at it and going like, wow, he is the best quarterback in this game. Like this game, not like the football, like football as a whole. I mean, like just a singularity game of like he is the best quarterback in this Super Bowl game.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, Dak Prescott can throw less interceptions than Tom Brady, but that's just is that because the Cowboys defense is doing that much, or like could Dak Prescott have a better game than Tom Brady? If that's what you're asking, yes. Because there's been guys that are of lesser value, like fucking Chad Pennington or J.P. Lossman, that have had better games than Tom Brady. I mean, you can have a better game than Tom Brady. It's not possible, and like it's definitely possible. Eli's done it twice.
True. Eli Equal Manning. Let's call him by his rightful name here on the onside kick. Equal Manning.
His rightful is it Ezekiel?
He is equal with Peyton Manning.
It's
Equal
Eli.
Manning.
Eli.
Yeah, Equal Manning. Because he's got just as many rings as Peyton does.
It was a really bad joke. His name's Eli.
He's got two. It's me. It's a me and Mark thing.
I'm not Mark.
Mark, you got to help me with this.
I'm not Mark. This is a stupid joke.
Mark, help me. But any last thoughts on the Patriots before we wrap up this podcast?
On the Patriots, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
There you go. Sean saying they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Can I be serious real quick?
Yeah.
The final thing that I want to say is the biggest worry that I have out of this whole team is. First off, the linebacking core. Donta Hightower is great, but he cannot stay healthy. And then outside of that, I'm not sold on Landon Roberts. I'm not sold on Kyle Van Noy. David Harris, I know they brought him in from the Jets, but again, I don't know what exactly he can do. Because
So you're saying the defense is going to be the weak link?
No.
Okay.
Well, the defense is going to be the weak link, obviously, yeah. I mean, you have Tom Brady on one side. When is the Patriots defense ever been the strong suit of this team? Jesus Christ, Ricky. I mean, the defense, of course, is going to be the weak link of this team. I think just the linebacking core specifically gives me a little bit of qualms, if you want to say.
Little worries.
A little worries, but I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be too bad because, again, they did step up in the second half of the Super Bowl because they definitely didn't do it in the first half. And then also Stephen Gostkowski, because I know that he's been a fantastic kicker before, but last year had a really rough season, didn't hit from 90% of his field goals, also missed 3 extra points. That's something that's very out of character. And he also missed one in the Super Bowl as well. So he needs to bounce back, but that's really the only worries that I have, are the linebacking core, the offensive line, and the kicker.
Well, this is where you guys come in. I'm going to turn it on to you guys. Let us know down below. What do you guys think about the Patriots? This is probably going to be the hardest preview that we've done for all the teams, just because this team is probably going to A, make the playoffs, B, make the AFC Championship game, and probably C, could make the Super Bowl again. Like, this team is that good, and it's kind of hard to find those nitpicky spots when you're talking about a team as good as the Patriots are. But I want to thank you, Sean,
thanks for
coming on to the Onside Kick, filling in for newly married Mark Weber.
Congrats to Mark.
Congrats again to Mark. He is out on his honeymoon on some island shirtless. That's the last picture.
St. Kitts.
Yeah, that's the last picture I saw from Mark shirtless, and I told Sean that's the first time I have seen Mark shirtless, and I don't know how I feel yet about it. But I want to thank Sean for being on the podcast. Mark will be back next week, a new man, a changed man. But thank you guys for watching and listening, and as always, have a good day, everybody.